I'm back, and we're gonna talk about Batman. Yes, I'm sorry, the Batman. Spoiler. Everybody, it is me, the infamous Kiki. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I got a few new subscribers. If you don't know who I am on Geo Malik's channel. I'll show up there and he talks about like reality show like 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup. I've been in Wall Street Journal on their podcast and in their and also in their newspaper. I've been on various blogs and stuff like that. I've been on Double Toasted. So I'm not anything special or famous. I just do my thing. You know, I talk about pop culture, review TV shows, movies, just whatever I feel like. I even talk about news and history because I'm a big news and history buff. Okay, so I have been gone for a little bit. I took a little bit of break. If you guys haven't noticed, if you're new here, I took a little bit of break because I had some dental work. If you don't see, you can't see it. I have braces on the top. I've been having braces on the top for a while. And now I have braces on the bottom. And my whole face was swollen. Like I looked like a damn chipmunk. My face was so swollen. So I did not look like me. I got on camera and I was like, ooh, girl, no. I mean, my face was like it hurt so bad. It still hurts. You can still tell how I talk. It's a little bit lispy. But then I had one of my cat's Buttons has a serious kidney disease. He had to wear cat diapers. Yes, cat diapers. That it exists. It's a real thing. And so I was taking care of him, giving him medicine twice a day. He was peeing blood. Like it was a thing. My kids were very upset. I was very upset. So I really didn't feel like doing video. So he's taking medicine. He's doing better. So that has resolved itself. My mouth is doing better. My face is not looking like a swollen, like somebody punched me in the face. So I am here to do a review of The Batman, which is a new movie by Warner Brothers. If you don't know, it came out on Friday. I went to go see it with my sister-in-law. I will try to go see it again because it was a very good movie. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So if you have not seen this movie, please go watch this movie and come back here and watch my review. I'm not going to get into like hardcore details about the storyline and things like that. So this is going to be spoilers, but not hardcore spoilers. You know, I'm not going to break down plots. I'm just going to tell you things that I've read. I've seen a lot of reviews, read a lot of reviews, watched a lot of YouTube videos. I'm going to bring up things that I've noticed that have been a lot different than what other people have noticed. So, sit back and relax. This video won't be long. I try not to make it too long, y'all, but you know, I like to talk. I got the gift to gab. So, The Batman. This new Batman, it has nothing to do with the Justice League or Batfleck, Ben Affleck being Batman. This is a entirely starting over again. I know some of y'all who not into superheroes are like, another Batman with another cast, so we starting over. So no, this is a non-continuation of Ben Affleck's Batman. This is brand new. This is a movie by director Matt Reeves, who did like Planet of the Apes and a bunch of other movies. And his Batman, which was controversial, which I don't understand why people fall for the hype, is Robert Pattinson. Now, Robert Pattinson, he played in Twilight, so Robert Pattinson. But in this movie, Robert Pattinson, if you have not followed up with his career, I have a little bit. He has transformed himself. He has gone from, being like, Edward Cullen and sparkling like diamonds, like a vampire. And he's went from that. He took all that Twilight money, took a break, came back and started doing all these independent movies, all these weird movies. He has turned into a phenomenal actor, indie movie actor. He still has a large fan base. He still is a thirst trap. But when he was announced as Batman, there's a lot of people, not me, not your girl, not me, not your girl, again, not me, because I was like, let's do it. They thought he was too skinny. They thought he was out. They're like, oh my God, because Robert Pattinson in real life is like 6'3", right? They thought he was too skinny because in the comics, again, let me put it out there. I'm a huge comic book nerd. Believe it or not, I'm a huge comic book nerd. I'm more of a Marvel girl, not a DC. But I know a lot about comic books. Like I know the story of Batman. I know the Deep Dive. I know the Court of Owls. I know the Longest Night. I know Batman, right? Um, I know more Wonder Woman than I know Batman, but Justice League, I know all them. So people were not excited that Twilight Boy was gonna play gritty, moody, broody Batman, but I was on board because I'm like, Batman is moody, Batman got issues, and if anybody can pull off acting, it would be Robert Pattinson. I would say in this movie he has done a phenomenal job as Batman. He is more Batman in this movie than Bruce Wayne. So if you really like the Playboy Bruce Wayne and you like all that, just go to sleep like that. You're not gonna get that Bruce Wayne. Some people have complained about that. I wasn't expecting that Bruce Wayne, but you're not gonna get that Bruce Wayne. As whether his physicality, child, please. They lying to you. They lied. Because he didn't have to get naked. He just had to be imposing in this big tactical suit. And he makes an imposing Batman. He's a tall guy. And the fight scenes were good. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes with previews and everything. Yeah, it's about 3 hours and 5 minutes. I mean, it's a long movie, but it's worth it. Like, to me, I didn't think it dragged. Some people said it dragged. There were some parts in there that they could have cut out, they could have taken out. But all in all, the movie was good. Now, then it has Catwoman in it. Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz, I've seen her in other movies. I wasn't a big, I'm not a big, huge fan of hers. I'm not really familiar with her work, but she did really good. She made a really fetching, beautiful Catwoman. Her story doesn't take over the story. It enhances and adds to it. There are things about Catwoman, I won't spoil it too much for you, but that I already knew coming into it just because I know the story of Catwoman, and some people thought it was redundant, but a lot of people didn't know this about Catwoman. A lot of people, the other movie we saw, with Catwoman and Michelle Pfeiffer, they didn't really get into her real backstory, but in this movie they do. So then Batman and Catwoman are teamed up against the Riddler, and the Riddler is pretty much going around murking everybody, and he's trying to take down the city or improve the city. That was part of the movie I didn't really like, because it's like, I understand what Riddler was trying to do, but I didn't understand why. Like, apparently in the movie, the Riddler, he's spoiler alert, okay, again, he's a forensic accountant, so he worked for Gotham City or worked for the police department. He was there to a forensic accountant, basically someone who goes into accounting books and finds things. They really didn't explain too much of him being in a forensic accountant, finding out these things. Like, that was a little murky for me. They could explain that they explained he was an orphan, and his orphanage was terrible and horrible. Babies was dying, all kinds of stuff. But I get that. But as to why he was so hell-bent on destroying Gotham, it was kind of like, okay, I know there's corruption, but like, what was his personal angle? And maybe I missed it. Maybe I had too many. I did have a frozen Jack and Coke. So I don't know, but I only had one of those. But I maybe I missed something in there. I did go to the bathroom one time and missed like the car chase scene. But his part in it. But he played a really nuanced, new take on the Riddler. The Riddler. So he plays the Riddler, y'all, not the Joker, the Riddler. And so he had a really nuanced. He kind of reminded me of this dude I used to date a long time ago. Like, don't ask me no questions, okay? Just go with it. Okay, but Paul Dano reminds me, like, when Paul Dano was younger, like, I was kind of thirst trapping on him a little bit because he was kind of cute when he was younger. But then as he got older, he still kind of looks the same, but his face is getting older. So it just he gives off a very, like, I don't know, creepy January 6th kind of vibe to him. Like, he'd be kind of dude that would be there with the Proud Boys or something. Like, he gives me that kind of, or he the type of dude that would kidnap your child and hold him hostage. Paul Dano always gives a really, really, really good performance. I liked his acting. Some people said it was over the top. Whatever. I like everything that Paul Dano has been in. So, keep doing your thing, boy. But, so that was good. This is how I would have to say this is the best Batman movie I've ever seen. I've seen every Batman movie. I mean, I go way back with Batman. I go back with the Adam West, the dun 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 yeah, this yeah, that dude. I go way back to that. When I was a kid, I used to watch the reruns of the 60s Batman. And then I've seen all the movies in the 80s. I've seen every Batman movie in the theater. I think, yeah, I've seen every Batman movie in the theater. Michael Keaton ones all the way down. Like I said, I love superheroes. I'm a nerd. And so, this is the best Batman movie I've ever seen. People complain that it's really dark and it's really gritty and somber. I like dark. I like gritty. I like somber. I was an emo child in the 90s. I'm sorry. I like the whole, Nirvana soundtrack and the gritty 90s grunge rock music. I like how Gotham looked dirty and dingy. I mean, Matt Reeves really brought Gotham to life for me. But one of the highlights of the movie, I have to say, is that I thought that people have overlooked is the relationship between Batman and Alfred. Alfred is not in the movie a lot, but there are things that are said throughout the movie. And again, I want to go see this movie again because there are things that he said to Alfred that you're just kind of like, I don't know if it's shade. I don't know if it's just past trauma. I don't know if it's animosity. There's things that he says to Alfred, like Alfred gives him his cufflinks and it has the Wayne W on it, which actually if you turn it upside down, it's an A for Arkham too. If it's an AA for Arkham. But anyway, that's a little tidbit, little nerd tidbit. But he kind of asked Alfred, like, where'd you get these from? And I was like, are you implying Alfred stole those? And he was like, your dad gave them to me. Because he was like, you're not a Wayne. He's like, I know, but your dad gave. He's like, I know you. Like, he's like, I know you keep telling me that. Like, you don't have to remind me. Like, so I think through the years he may have had trauma and told Alfred, you're not my father, you're not my dad, you're not my dad. But when Alfred does get hurt, the scene in the hospital between him and Alfred was very touching to me. Like, it touched, girl, it had me in my feelings. Like, I was like, because he was saying that he never wanted to feel that way. And you could tell the way Robert Pattinson's acting was, you could tell the anguish of Batman. Like, you could see it in his face, in his eyes. Throughout the whole movie, you see it in his face and his eyes. Like, Robert Pattinson did some face. Like, he gave you all face everywhere. But you can see the anguish of him talking to Alfred saying that, I prepared myself and I've steeled myself and I purged myself from emotions. But when Alfred almost died, he said he never wanted to feel that way again about losing a loved one, but he feels that way for Alfred. So Alfred is like the soul of Batman. Like, that's how I feel like in this movie. And that's how it's kind of been in the comics as well. But yeah, I always feel that Alfred is the soul and the moral compass of the Bat. And it was just so touching to see him, Alfred extend his hand and him grab his hand. And I just felt like he just, to me, reverted to like a little boy then. Like, I just wanted to give Batman a hug. I got a son, so I just wanted to hug him. I just wanted to love on Batman a little bit. Not in that way. I mean, maybe that way too. Y'all, okay. But I just wanted to love on Batman a little bit. I just thought that was a very touching scene. Him struggling to express, because Batman is not a very expressive person. This movie, throughout the movie, Batman will narrate a little bit, and I loved it because that's very akin to the comics. This is the first time we ever had like a Bat narration that I know of, so it was great to hear him and his thoughts on what he's thinking and how he feels about the city. And I really hope they do make a sequel. I like the way it ended, and like I said, I just felt like I was in the city. It felt more like a cop drama. It didn't really feel like a superhero type movie. It is PG-13. The thing that I was disappointed about the most is that I cannot take my kids to go see this movie. My kids love Batman. They love superheroes. But, I mean, people had their kids in the theater. Okay, God bless you. I mean, you do you. But I honestly could not see me taking my kids to this movie. Y'all, it should have been a rated R, but there's no nudity, there's not a lot of cussing in it, but it's just a lot of elements of narcotic use. Zoe Kravitz was a little scantily clad to me in the club, dressed in very cutely, very adult-like. I got a 12-year-old and 8-year-old. I'll be covering my son's eyes up like that. Like, I don't know. Like, that was a little bit too much for me. The violence is a lot. It's very violent. And like I said, for me and my kids, I couldn't take them to go see this movie, but I highly recommend this movie to anyone 13 and up or 14 and up. Just depends on your child. But again, me, myself, I don't feel comfortable taking my 12-year-old to go see this movie. That's just me. I don't think my kids are very kind of sheltered, so they don't see like a lot of, they don't watch, I don't have them watch a lot of violent movies, a lot of cussing, a lot of half naked, scantily clad women on stripper poles. My kids will be like, mommy, what's going on? Like, they ain't ready for all that. So I was just kind of disappointed at that, but I understand. And like I said, people have complaints with the tone. I don't have a problem with the tone. I do, there were some things, some revelations about Bruce Wayne's family that I love. I find the Waynes fascinating. Like, I find his crazy ass mama fascinating. Her parents, Bruce Wayne's grandmother was nuts. Like, the whole connection to Arkham Asylum, the thing about his father being corrupt. And I had some questions about that. If you watched the movie, let me know in the comments below, what did you think? Because, the things that Alfred was saying about your father was a good man, but he made a mistake. I kind of felt like it was a little bit more than that more than just he made a mistake. I think his father was very ambitious and very rich and very arrogant. And I think that maybe Alfred sees him as a good person. He was very good at Alfred. But I don't know. I throw a side eye to Thomas Wayne and his family, and knowing what I know about the connection of the family and the history in the Court of Owls and all this kind of stuff, what goes on to these rich people in Gotham. I hope the next movie that Bruce doesn't just drop it. I hope he goes further into learning things about his Arkham side and his Wayne side, and I hope that's not the main plot of the movie, but a different villain, but that being incorporated in the movie somehow, because that's something that we've never explored in the movie. We've never explored the history of the Waynes. It's always, they get killed, they get shot. And this movie, again, is not an origin story. If I didn't say it before, this movie is not an origin story. Everybody knows the origin story of Batman. His parents get murked. By who, we don't know. We'll leave it at that. Sometimes they've implied that it's Joker, whatever. Not in this movie. It just says that his parents got, and they've implied in the movie that who his parents may have been killed by, but I don't really believe that either, because there's no evidence really either way. But I really want to see an exploration of the Waynes and their family, and I want Bruce to go on that journey and then having to come to terms with that mentally, that because Bruce Wayne is not a well person. He's not a well-adjusted person in this movie. He's not a well-adjusted person in the comics. He has mental health issues that he's in trauma that he's never really handled or dealt with. So, and he doesn't want to deal with it. He deal with it by going around dressing up in a bat suit and hanging out in the Batcave and solving crimes and thinking somehow he's going to pathologically protect the city from crime, from people from getting hurt the way his parents got hurt. It's deep. Like, the whole Batman psychology, there's books people wrote about. It's very deep. But again, this movie, I would suggest you please go see this movie if you've not seen this movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it twice. I want to go see it twice. It is well worth the time in the theater. It's well worth the wait. There wasn't a lot of advertising in this movie coming out, but word of mouth has really, really spread. And again, like, the things that I noticed is just the relationship between him and Alfred. I like the relationship between him and Commissioner Gordon. That was just priceless. And the acting is top notch. The script is top notch. It's a tad bit long. They could have cut things out here and there. I like the action. I like the characters, and I look forward to a sequel. So, like, share, subscribe, comment on this video. Will you have any questions? Did you like it? Have you seen it yet? This is my first video I'm doing about a review. I might do more movie reviews. What kind of things you would like to see from me? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Like, what else would you like to see me do? And I don't know. You guys have a pleasant day. Bye.